Welcome to day 8 of the Digital Clean Sweep. When you open Google Drive, you land on the home screen, a feed of recent and suggested files. It looks something like this. But today, we're skipping past that and heading into My Drive, which is the real root of your digital storage. So we're going to click here into the top level of our drive. Now, if you've never intentionally cleaned this space, it's probably a mix of old docs, PDFs, maybe some rogue screenshots, and it can get messy fast. Today, we're not trying to sort everything. We're just going to give My Drive some structure, like preparing storage bins before organizing the classroom. And so let's get busy. We're going to start with a quick scan to find anything that's floating loose. Now you can see that My Drive has already been sorted a little bit over the years. I've created a few folders. And these are fairly broad categories, but they're not broad like work, school, personal projects. They're not that broad. Although you could use folders that are that broad if that works for you. So I'm going to just scan through and look at some of these titles. Fortunately, most of these are titled, and I can see where some are copies of something, so it's probably something I've borrowed, or maybe even gotten off from Teachers Pay Teachers over the years, and so things that have made forced copies. I see a section here that is very obvious to me from the teaching that I do at Methodist University. These all go, my naming structure uses the course number, so those will be easy to move into the Methodist folder. Some of these, like headshots and CV, resume types of things, I can put those in a personal, professional type folder. So I'm just scanning through. I'm going to go all the way down. Okay, this is the part that always scares me, is how many things did I accidentally leave untitled? And I'm so relieved to see I don't have very many, but I will have to actually open those when it's time to see what they are, to figure out where they go. So I think that I'm going to start by going back up and just adding a couple folders today for some of these categories that are down there. But I think there's a bunch of things, files that belong in some of these folders, and they just never really got put there for some reason. So I'm going to come to the New button, and I'm going to choose Folder. And I'm going to start with one labeled Professional Portfolio. And I'm going to put any headshots and resumes and teaching philosophies and those kinds of things in there. And then I'm going to make another one titled EDU 3180. Now this folder is actually going to end up going in the Methodist folder, but I'm going to start it out here so that I can drag those into it real quick and easy. Now, another little tip I have for you is that when you're sorting into these folders, instead of having to scroll back and forth, up and down a lot, you can click the arrow next to the My Drive, and now your folders all show up over here. So as I scroll through, I can drag and drop them. So I'm going to come down and I'm going to find those ones that were all the EDU 3180, and I'm going to click, and then I'm going to press Shift, and I'm going to click the one at the bottom to get all of those, and I'm just going to do one more scan to make sure there's nothing extra. Yep, those all belong there. So I'm going to put those in that folder. Just click and drag. Now that they're in there, I can take this folder and put it in my Methodist folder. Now I also see that I've got some other Methodist folders here, and there are some files. I've got some Edu 2400, and these go right here. So move those real quick. And I think this one is missing the 0 at the end. This belongs in this folder, but before I put it there, I'm going to do a quick rename because I'm not trying to have to touch these too many times. So I'm going to fix things I can fix if I can do it quickly. And I'm going to move that there. All right. Now let's see if I can find some of those professional files and move those real quickly. For this, I'm going to change my view from list view to the little card, the small tile or medium-sized tile view. And this is going to help me get all the different headshots from over the years. Now I'm going to press my control key for this and click on each of these so I can get them even though they're scattered around. I'm going to put those in my professional portfolio, and then these three I can press shift and move these to the professional portfolio. Alright, now I can also look, I know these images are from STEMCon, so you just have to be able to say, oh, I know what I'm looking at. If you don't know what your files are, that can be tricky. This file goes in my professional portfolio. It is from when I was redoing my national boards. Okay, so you get the idea of how to go about this, I hope. I don't want to force you to sit here and watch me do all of these, but I'm going to be able to quickly move things. I'm really finding all the personal things and all of the Methodist things. Oh, there's another personal one. Okay, so move any files you can immediately place. Now, if you're not sure where something belongs, then it's okay to create a new folder and call it miscellaneous. The purpose of this is going to be so that you can have only folders showing here. Ultimately, all I want are folders. So if I can get all my miscellaneous things in the miscellaneous folder, I can look for categories inside of that folder later on. I'll just check back from time to time, see if any common themes start to emerge as I'm dropping files there. Now, I do have a pro tip for you when it comes to these folders. If you have a particular folder that you want to show up first, right now mine are sorted by name alphabetically. Watch how this changes. This is reverse alphabetical. Just clicking this arrow reorders your files alphabetically if they're sorted by name. You can also sort them by when they were modified, but I usually keep them sorted by name. But let's just say that you want that professional portfolio to stand out and always be at the very front end. Go to the three dots, click rename, and just put a 0, 1, and a hyphen in front of it, and that automatically moves it here in the front. And if you really want to have it stand out, you can go to organize. Sorry for that dramatic pause for a minute. You go to organize and choose a color, and then it'll stand out that much more after you've chosen a color. Okay, so let's say I also want my Methodist to be at the front. I'm going to rename it. And then even though M in the alphabet comes before P, it's going to show up after the professional portfolio. I'm going to give that a color as well. Go to organize. Okay, make that a green color. There. So you could also use emojis if you prefer instead of numbers. Any kind of alternate character in front of the alpha the alphabetical letter, obviously, is going to make that push to the front. If you don't want the leading 0, you don't have to use the leading 0, but if you get a lot of folders and you're using the number system to keep them in the order that you prefer, then you definitely will want the leading 0 if you get beyond 9 folders. So your top level drive when you're done should feel more like a launch pad instead of a junk drawer. And just spending 10 minutes here can make it make a huge dent in that. Drop a comment in the Facebook group or on Substack to tell us about the folders you created. I'd love to see pictures of your digital spaces as they become more organized. This is a huge foundational win. Sharing your progress is a great way to celebrate. Tomorrow, I'll be back to help you organize one big important folder. See you soon.